We got to talk about a couple things that have kind of shocked me. They're kind of unexpected, names that are kind of popping up out of the blue. But then you saw a defensive line prospect commit to another school that you kind of were hoping Oklahoma was going to land. So we got to talk about it today because it's Champu barbecue weekend, and Oklahoma, they have a chance to make some noise. So jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. I want to hear of the top 3 prospects that you think could be Oklahoma's next 2025 commits. But today I want to talk about some unexpected moves that have happened for the Oklahoma Sooners. And the first one is the 3-star defensive lineman, Christian Evans. If you all remember, we talked about him when he first got the offer from Oklahoma. We even had him here on the podcast. And, one of the things that really stuck out was the relationship that he had with Todd Bates and how that developed so quickly. But Virginia Tech really became a quick player in the mix for Christian Evans when Oklahoma became prevalent. And it's Todd Bates and Brent Venables lose another 4-star defensive lineman in this cycle. You lost Cole Breeler to Stanford. That one kind of hurt a little bit. But Oklahoma still got some elite targets on the board. So you still got Maki Williams-Lee. That is a 3-star defensive lineman that visited last weekend out of the state of Georgia. If you remember, I talked about him. We had him here on the podcast as well. And I said, this kid gives me a lot of Elijah Griffin vibes. And Elijah Griffin is that 5-star defensive lineman out of Savannah, Georgia. So very similar frames, plays in a better high school. I just think Maki Williams-Lee is one of those under-the-radar prospects. But although Christian Evans committing to Virginia Tech might have been unexpected for some, there's an even bigger unexpected move that Oklahoma and Todd Bates have made. And that is they have the 4-star defensive tackle Brandon Brown coming on campus. And you might be asking me, who in the world is Brandon Brown? We haven't heard of this guy. Well, let me start off by telling you he's currently committed to the University of Texas. So wouldn't it just be ever so sweet to get a guy like this to flip from Texas to Oklahoma? Now, all the intel shows that LSU is the front runner. This is a Bo Davis kid, right? So Bo Davis now at LSU. This is where a lot of the industry thinks this kid's probably going to end up flipping. Oklahoma, though, has, from what I have collected, a sneaky good shot at Brandon Brown. Now, I was talking to Topher B about this in the Discord chat. So remember, if you're not in the Discord, you need to join Jay's Discord, or you can just hit me up on Twitter and we can have a discussion there too. But I was talking to Topher B about this. We were talking about the chances from LSU to Oklahoma, like which one has the better chance of a flip. And I said, if Oklahoma wants Brandon Brown's commitment, they got to get him committed this weekend. Like, this is a huge weekend. You've got, I think he's your only defensive tackle prospect outside of Kamori Moore that isn't committed that's going to be on campus. So Todd Bates has an opportunity to really kind of give him all the attention that he needs and roll out that red carpet, spend some time in the film room. And the thing is with Oklahoma, you're starting to get to the point where going into next season, you're going to have defensive line picks in the NFL. And so Todd Bates has an opportunity to start kind of riding that momentum a little bit. And I think you're starting to see it because early in the cycle, we talked about Malik Autry potentially flipping from Auburn. And now we're talking about Brandon Brown. And let me tell you, Texas scared that he ain't going to stay with Texas, that he might end up with LSU. But he's 6'1.5", 286 pounds. This is a guy that I think could come in and probably play some significant time for you right away in terms of rotational minutes. But I want to take a look at his offer sheet here because he's got a total of 42 offers. And I want everybody to understand the kind of offers he has, right? So you can see what kind of prospect he is. Texas, LSU, obviously we talked about them. Bo Davis, Kenny Baker. Tennessee, who's actually been a quietly good defensive line recruiting school. You've got Auburn, you've got Florida, you've got Georgia, you've got Florida State, who has been a really good, has an eye for development in terms of guys to transfer portal. Miami, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, the godfather of defensive line recruiting. Larry Johnson's trying to get in on this one. Penn State, Oregon and Dan Lanning, Texas A&M, who has guys, they've recruited defensive linemen well before. Not saying they developed well, but they've recruited well. So as you can see, between his 42 offers, it's a really good list of offers for Brandon Brown. But the question is Todd Bates going to be able to land a commitment this week? If I had to tell you, it's probably a no. Does Oklahoma get the flip this weekend? Probably not. But Brandon Brown is a prospect that you absolutely have to go swing for the fences for. He has 155 total tackles, 48 tackles for loss, 14 and a half sacks, 4 pass breakups, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Like, this is a guy that Todd Bates could really help shape and mold into a really good defensive line, interior guy on this defensive line that Oklahoma is currently trying to build. So you look at the 2 commits that you currently have in Kamori Moore and Trent Wilson. You obviously want to make that probably 3 or 4, but it's not a deep class. So I look at it and say Maki Williams becomes extremely important, because I think that's one, as a 3-star, you have to go out there and land him, especially with the offer sheet he's got. And then you look at the other 2 remaining. You would look at Brandon Brown and Floyd Boucard. Floyd Boucard had a good visit at Oklahoma. The problem is that's going to be a recruitment that's probably drug out all the way through the summer into the fall. It could end in the summer, but everybody that I've talked to, the consensus is that's a recruitment that's probably going to drag out a little bit longer. Picard's got to see the scenery a little bit, maybe visit these schools a couple times. And if you're Oklahoma, you would definitely like to try to get him on campus during the fall. And even if you get Brandon Brown to flip this weekend, you still probably tried to pursue Boucard a little bit, because Boucard is a guy that can come in and start for you, or, play significant rotational minutes right away. Like, he has that kind of size. But Brandon Brown, currently committed to the University of Texas. He has taken 2 unofficial visits to LSU. He's got 1 official on the calendar. He's taken an official visit to Tennessee. I think this is his first visit to the University of Oklahoma. So big deal for Todd Bates. It's a big weekend in general for Oklahoma football recruiting with the Champu barbecue. We're going to have that visitor list set to come out tomorrow. I just want to make sure there's not any late additions to the list. We've already had to take off 1 or 2 guys. So we just want to make sure that we get this list as accurate as possible for y'all. So make sure you guys are plugged in. Make sure you guys have hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. But additionally, guys, I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion, jump in the comments below, and, give me your thoughts, whether it's predictions on Brandon Brown being able to flip from Texas to Oklahoma, or just, like I said at the beginning of the video, what are your next 3 commitments for Oklahoma in this 2025 class? I think they could get a 2026 commitment here in the next couple of weeks. We talked about that one yesterday, so go tune into that video. But again, if you guys haven't already and you guys have made it this far, make sure you hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.